What's up, guys? It's Uncle Freedom coming to you on not a day off. I'm actually in between shifts. I go back to work in like 8 hours. So, yay for that. But I thought I'd take a moment to share with you probably one of the most effective and important tools that I have access to as law enforcement and you have access to as not law enforcement. So if that sounds like fun and cool to you, go ahead and like, subscribe, and tell a friend because we are growing. It's fantastic. I did put up some ballistic gel shots for those of you that are following on Instagram. I actually have just 3 random shots from a test that we did. It's a 180 grain jacketed hollow point, one that actually performed as it was designed to do, but the same bullet after it went through auto glass, and then the same bullet after it failed miserably through wallboard. So you can go over there and take a look at that. That's at Uncle Freedom 213. Again, at Uncle Freedom 213. Take a look at that and you will see kind of what I'm talking about when I talk about bullets that don't do what they're supposed to, or how bad glass can actually be on a projectile. So coming up, we're going to have some fun and some other stuff. We're going to talk about some ballistic crap coming up here in a few days. We're going to be looking at bullet construction, round selection, all kinds of neat stuff. But first, we're going to look at that tool that is so important to me. So why is it important? Well, we all agree that carrying a firearm is your Second Amendment right as an American. And as long as you have the right to own a firearm, I believe you should be able to carry it because an armed society is indeed a polite society. However, how do we train with those firearms? Ammunition's expensive. We can all say that we go to the range every week and shoot our asses off, but for most people, that's total horseshit. Unless you have ammunition sponsored by a department or you just got it like that, which most people don't. Let's be real, the economy's in the shitter. Thanks, Biden. Thank you so much. Golf clap. Anyway, so moving on from there, we look at, from that, what's your most effective means of training? That's dry fire, right? You should be dry firing. If you're not dry firing reps every day, and I do mean every day, I mean when you get up in the morning and you get ready to put your gun on, make sure you got a clear gun. Get yourself some dry fire reps out of your concealed carry holster just so you get in the groove of things. Load that gun up and go to work and have it with you that day as the defender you're supposed to be. Train when you're off. I dry fire all the freaking time. A great one is, Ben Stoker's Pro Shop. He has the little bitty IPSC targets. Oh my God, those are amazing. So amazing. In his books, Dry Fire Reloaded, stuff like that, the Practical Shooters guide, those are freaking fantastic. Go check him out. That's Ben Stoker's Pro Shop. Not affiliated, doesn't know me, but his stuff is freaking awesome. So going away from that, all right, we've talked about dry fire, and you should be dry firing all the time. Well, you have other options. You have like the Mantis system, which is pretty cool. I have a Mantis X, I think it is. It's really neat. And then I had like the Blackbeard version, I think it was. I didn't really care for it. It was the AR one with the bolt. And then aside from that, you have something as simple as the dry fire mag, which I highly recommend to anybody. I've got a couple of them. They are freaking amazing. The trigger reset is the same, and I can actually tune that spring to get the kind of the same feel. But outside of that, how do you really train? How do you shoot at other people and get shot at too? So you learn the difference between your ass is standing in the open when you shouldn't be, or how to do things like get your ass behind cover to reload because the other guy will shoot you. Me as a medical guy and teaching medical stuff, there is no better way to put people under pressure and stress than to shoot at them while they are attempting to render aid or remote assessments, things of that nature. You can do it with airsoft, but airsoft doesn't really hurt. Airsoft's a great tool, don't get me wrong, but airsoft doesn't really hurt. However, these do. So this is one of our training firearms that we have. This is a Glock 17 Model T, so a G17T. Take a look at this guy. It's got some cool stuff you don't normally see, like a hole in the side of your chamber. Please don't fire normal ammo out of this. It'll be a really shitty day all the way around for everybody involved. So the way we make this thing work is actually all this blue stuff you see here, and if I rack this slide back, you can actually see the blue there. So where you see the black at, the Tennifer finish, the melanated finish, that's actually the normal slide material. Everywhere you see blue is polymer. That is to lower the weight of the slide because the ammunition you're going to fire in Sims training is really not that powerful. Outside of that, this is a Glock. Now, it does have a very weird looking barrel. I'm going to point this at you, so freak out, safety Nazis. It's cool. You can see that. That is not normal. That's because a 9mm UTM round is, well, not a 9mm round. Technically, the Glock models are only registered to use the force-on-force ammo, which is from Spears Law Enforcement Division, or you can use Simunition, the FX projectile, which is really good stuff. It's actually a hotter version of the force-on-force. It'll function both of them flawlessly. Other than that, this thing operates just like a normal Glock. All of my controls are the same. Everything. I can put a weapon mounted light on here. I can put this guy in my holster. It's all great. When we start looking at this guy, I have the same terrible Glock sights. Because did you expect anything else? I have the normal Gen 5 mag release. I even have the full backstrap kit to modify this to make it more comfortable for whoever to use if you have giant fucking hands like I do or not. I have the ambidextrous slide stop. Everything on here is the same. The trigger pull is the same. The wall is the same. The feel is the same. The magazines are pretty much the same. This is a 17-round mag, Gen 5 mag, but it's got a blue base plate, so we know that this goes to the gun that shoots paintballs at people. So, slide locks back on an empty thing just like normal. Your reloads function just as normal. So when you come in here, everything is just as normal. So you get every bit of your rep. The recoil is not as stout, but it is similar. I'll give it that. And in the pressure of being shot at by another guy with one of these things, you tend not to notice any form of recoil at all. So the round, you might ask, what does the round look like? Well, this is a round. This is an FX projectile. There you go, brass case, cool little paintball on the end of it. This stuff is non-staining, comes out pretty easy with water and detergent. But, so you have two versions of it. You have one made by Force on Force. You have another one that's the FX ammunition here, which is what I have here. The Force on Force stuff has an aluminum case. This is actually a 5.56 version for use with an AR. If you want me to go into one of those, I can actually show you how that works in a different video. I figured we'd just talk about the Glock today. So when we're talking about the simunition stuff, the FX projectile, we're talking about a 6.2 grain projectile traveling at an astonishing speed of 360 to 524 feet per second, powered solely by a small pistol primer. No powder in these guys. They are pretty loud, though they're hearing safe without ear pro on. When you fire one of these guys, this is what you're left over with. This is what ejects from your handgun. The only part that leaves and smacks you and leaves really cool welts is this guy. Make no mistake about it. Little dents you get from airsoft are not the same thing. This shit will take paint off your arm. Think I'm playing? So right there, there's a bald spot where there's no ink. And that's because I got hit with a freaking FX projectile one day. So it happens. It's going to hurt. You're going to bleed. It's going to leave welts and bruises on you when you get shot. But that's just to let you know you fucked up somewhere. We do wear a bunch of safety equipment. You wear body armor while you do this level 3A soft armor. You wear a full face shield with a neck protector to keep you from getting your little Adam's apple jocked in, or your nose broken, or your eye shot out, or your teeth knocked out by the damn thing. But outside of that, you wear a cup too. Don't forget a cup, because it'll swell your boys up. Oh shit, wear a cup. But outside of that, you're going to get shot, and it's going to hurt, and it's going to let you know you've made a mistake, which is why it's such a valuable training aid. So when we start talking about that, what kind of muzzle energy are we talking about? I just told you how bad it hurt, right? And it leaves welts all over you, right? Okay, we're talking about 1.77 foot-pounds to 3.76 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. That's stopping power if I've ever seen it. That's 6 grain projectile moving at 500 feet per second. You get 3 foot-pounds of energy, in case you're wondering. But what's kind of cool about this stuff is it's really tailored out to do the CQB drill stuff. So we're talking about, with the handgun ammo, we're talking about a 6-inch extreme spread of a group at 25 feet. So that is engagement distance, active shooter drills, stuff like that. It's really good for what it does. And then the other version, the Force on Force, is not as hot. It has that aluminum case, but you're only talking 325 to 450 feet per second. But it does have a bit of a tighter spread. You're looking at about 4 inches at 25 feet, which is pretty good. But your standoff for either one of these rounds is going to be 1 foot. So that means at 1 foot away from you, I can plug you with something moving 500 feet per second. And it's going to get your attention, and it's going to suck. But that's the point behind it. We can do dry fire. We can do mantis drills. We can go on the range. We can shoot airsoft at each other. But there's no real repercussions for any of these. However, you start playing around with an actual Sims firearm, it will get your attention. It will let you know you've screwed up and stuck out something out from behind a wall. It will tell you you've made a mistake that would have cost you either a serious injury or your life. Like I said, people get hung up on these and they're like, oh, it's just for active shooter. It's just for this. No, man, get creative with it. We'll do car drills where you have a traffic stop car drill where you're approaching the car and the guy in the car decides he's going to shoot your shit because he doesn't like cops that day. Real story, it happens. So what do? that guy's got the jump on you. Bad guys get to go first. That's what we do. We run drills called action versus reaction to show you the fact that reaction is not nearly as fast as you think you are. Like Mitchell excluded from that, of course, and maybe Garand Thumb and possibly Lucas Bakken. I don't know. But most people will not win in a reaction versus an action versus reaction drill. But stuff like that, where you go up to the car and that happens, that's an eye-opener. Like, holy shit, I just died, right? Getting in a shootout around a vehicle where you actually have to fight around a vehicle. That'll let you know real quick that your movement skills probably aren't as good as you thought. Another great one, and I love it, from medical training. Now I'm going to force you to do remote assessments. I'm going to force you to do tourniquets, care under fire, this stuff, move a patient. I'm going to force you to do those things while getting shot at, while having to return fire. Let's divide your attention and see if you can actually focus on the task at hand without dying yourself. You could run these things theoretically in your home if you were going to train, but I will let you know it will leave a dent in your sheetrock and your wife will beat your ass, okay? So one of the things we do to mitigate that when we train in schools, because we train in the schools itself and we run through active shooter drills in the school against other people. It's a real fight. We're going to win. But what we'll do is we'll hang tarps, and we'll hang tarps about that far from the wall. That's more than enough to mitigate any energy coming off that plastic projectile. It won't mar up the walls. You don't get paint everywhere. And the only person that gets welts and bruises and marks on him is the bad guy that was playing the bad guy that you shot to shit and back because, well, he was playing the bad guy and that's your job. So there you go, guys. The most effective tool that I have access to that most people don't. And it's not because you can't buy it. There's a newsflash for you. I will tell you Sims are relatively expensive. However, this is the cost of a normal Glock. So the question you got to ask yourself is, how much is your training worth? Well, I do this for a living. So for us, it's a lot. Because when this happens for real, there is no reset button. There's no, oh shit, I fucked that stage up. You die. So train like you fight. Don't shoot each other with real bullets by a sim gun. Like I said, the rifle version of it's really cool, and it requires a lot less than you think to run sims in a rifle. And I will tell you that the rifle ammo has the same velocity as the handgun ammo. And it has the same standoff, and it has the same mitigations to keep you from getting killed by your wife because you dented her wall. So if you want to see more about the rifle stuff, I'll bring in the kit and show you how we deck one of these guys out to run a rifle. It will surprise you how little you actually need. But just beware, if you get into this game, the ammo is expensive. You do have to have proper safety equipment. It's not worth getting your buddy's face broken or your eye shot out or your junk blown up because you didn't wear a cup that day. So there are some things to worry about. But I will say this comes like any other normal Glock. I get 3 Glock mags. I get the full backstrap cap. I even get a speed loader, right? Capacity is exactly the same. I get a 17 rounder. I can get 19 round mags for this thing. It's awesome. It's a great tool. Throw your weapon mounted light on there. Use your duty holster. Go to work. You don't change anything at all except ditching your normal ammo and ditching your service gun in favor of a training tool. These are awesome, guys. Again, I am Uncle Freedom. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. If you got questions about this stuff, just let me know, and I'll do my best to help you or point you in the right direction. If you want to see a video on the sim stuff for rifle and what it takes to make that work, let me know. I'll be glad to show you. But until next time, guys, I'll see you later.